It was in this very forest that Christ appeared to me just over 2 decades ago. I was a little lost, looking for the truth of existence, probably spending way too much time by myself in this profoundly beautiful forest. It was near the springtime, so I was really on the cusp of 21, and I was just profoundly moved by everything that I saw in nature. The littlest things, the littlest details, like how a tree has a trunk and roots and a core and produces so many leaves in a forest. It's uncountable. You can see all the beech trees with their leaves still up. You know, just the magic and miracle of it all. The waters, the light. And during that time, I started seeing refracted spheres of expansive light in the virtual space when I would squint and allow the rainbows of reflection in my eyelids to produce streaks of light where I could see these orbs, which I was convinced were reflections, if not me directly perceiving hydrogen atoms. And then I started thinking, well, what are hydrogen atoms? You know, the most ubiquitous element in all of creation, apparently. What is it? What is hydrogen? You know, one proton, one neutron, one electron. It seems like possibility to me. And as the different harmonics, expressions of those elements shift and find new combinations, what is the glue in between those things? There's some kind of intelligence, I guess is what I have to say. And I could see it in the light. And I could contemplate it in the space and patterns between things. And it was in this contemplation that I was inspired by this question in contemplating the leaves in one tree and how one, you know, the uncountable leaves on one tree and how that is made from a simple little tiny seed that I could see flying down like helicopters or blowing in the wind. And just all the ineffable abundance around us. And I was asked this question, which I knew was inspired. What would our world look like if we were all truly in love with life, doing what we loved, and sharing in the abundance that was clearly present in all of nature all around me? Like just the potential everywhere, I could see it. And maybe it was inspired from my contemplation, seeing the poverty and hearing about the suffering in the world, the hunger, and just realizing the abundance is there. It's just how are we using it? Anyways, when I finally had the resolve to come back home, I started walking on the path, and that's when a being of pure light appeared to me. And even though I do not have a religious background, I've shared that many times on the Love Pod. When he approached me in this like very transcendent way, almost like he teleported 3 times toward me, and just the ineffable light that was refracted in his presence, but it was the palpable feeling of just being just purely loved. And the light was it was like everything. It was infinite. It was so profound, and I could see it. I could see it in everything after that. Like I've had these moments where I've realized my consciousness has opened up, and I realized that light is always pouring onto me. It's also radiating from me. It's what connects us all, that light. And that moment, that profound moment of feeling just embraced in brotherly love by this completely transcendent being of pure light, shifted the course of my life, as you can imagine. It's what led me to Indigenous wellness, to learning from so many beautiful peoples, from different elders, from different cultural experiences and perspectives. I'm so grateful for this journey, and yet it has not been an easy one, because when I get a comment like, you focus too much on Christ consciousness, maybe you're going to repel or hurt some Christians because you're going to challenge their beliefs. Because in all honesty, I always had those questions, folks. I read the Bible looking for what the truth was, and I just found this massive gap. So many questions, from one side to the other. The reflections of this apparent God who would send punishment for sin and condemn, and on one hand say, thou shalt not kill, and then on the other tell his chosen people, apparently, to wipe out whole nations of people, never made sense to me. And I'm not saying there isn't wisdom in the Bible. Of course there is. Just like there's wisdom in the Quran, just like there is wisdom in the Bhagavad Gita, just like there is wisdom in breaking the habit of being yourself. But I have found nothing like the letters, and not that they are here to replace a Bible, but they are letters. They are written to us, for us. And I feel like they speak differently to each of us, because not only does he talk about relationships, healing conflicts, explaining electromagnetism and the Big Bang and bridging science and talking about the divine nature of laughter and really clarifying racism in a pretty profound and, deeply contemplative way. He shows us a path that he outlined with such clarity over 2,000 years ago now. And I got to take note, when a being has changed the literal definition of how we talk about time, at least in the West anyways, to me, there is either a fracture there or something that needs to be embraced and healed by our collective. And these letters give voice to that, because he's not saying all Christians gather and come towards world enlightenment. He's saying this is the truth of what I shared. And he's saying, gather all peoples of all faiths, Muslims, Taoists, Hindus, atheists, agnostic people, all of us, scientists, gather, realize that our consciousness is co-creative. And of course it is. We know this scientifically. We know that the observer effect is real, just as we know the placebo effect is real, and yet we can still be in such denial and maintain such arrogance as a species when we want to cling to our beliefs, whether it be the scientific method as the only way to understanding truth, and anything that is inspired and not measurable is clearly, contradicts that, and also beliefs that would, make it incomprehensible to understand, like so many of the dogmatic beliefs across all religions that have sought to control the people. I feel we are on the precipice of a great awakening as a species, and to include the true consciousness of our dear, dear brother, Yeshua ben Joseph, and his ascension into pure Christ consciousness, which is how I speak to him now. He is not Jesus. He's not Yeshua. That was his persona, but he is so much more than that. He is literally the nature of divine. And that brings me a little full circle to this concept of space. So if space is universal consciousness, is the ultimate equilibrium of our Creator, we can attune to it. And, I'm just coming back from a bout of illness, which I always say is like part of an upgrade. It always gives me reflection, because my journey towards true spiritual enlightenment, as gradual as it has been set with moments of pause, of stillness, of feeling frozen, of feeling afraid. And it always brings me back to the space. I love going into the space. But I also know that I'm here to be a light, to be love in action. And so I'm going to share my voice on this channel for those who wish to hear it, and to be available to people who who I can serve truly, deeply. I wholeheartedly believe we all have a unique, soulful purpose why we are here in this world. And I've been obsessed about it for decades now. And as I look at the sunshine, it's not something I could ever put down. So when someone tells me that I focus too much on Christ consciousness, I take it almost like the opposite. Like, I have not even begun sharing what I feel called to share. And I will admit, it is the part of me that feels afraid. And so I'll just end on this note, a little gift and an action item for those who wish to take it to heart is feel everything and remember. Feel everything and remember, or at least reconsider your beliefs. Consider some of the things that I've shared with you today, whether or not they're true, if they resonate or not, it is okay. But if they have brought you to another level of awareness and consideration of your own beliefs, and if they strengthen your faith in that way, then that is good too. Everything serves a purpose. But you are important. And so many people, I feel, get stuck in fear and can spend a whole lifetime, if not more, in these patterns of avoiding that call. So this is a little video, a little action of love, because I really do love everybody. Even people who have hurt me, I see us all as part of this ineffable whole, and the beauty that just surrounds us everywhere. You can barely see it, but in that distance, there's an old oak tree there. And that's where I was standing when Christ appeared to me. That oak tree's been standing with an old limb sticking out. This gnarly old tree with his limb. I'll go and get some close-ups of it. And it's just been holding out on that limb. Even that limb died years ago. It's the strength in it. The strength, the power of the creative, loving intelligence that grows all of this, that keeps all of our cells growing and flowing and building us and healing us and regenerating us. It's truly amazing. And so I know I shared a lot, and it's maybe a lot all over the place. My first YouTube video, and my first YouTube video really sharing about this, and it's just the beginning of a journey I want to take you on, because I just feel like I'm at a renewed place, pardon me, as I regain my voice and feel everything and remember who I am and what I'm here to share, to inspire, and I'm grateful. So, what are you grateful for? I'd love to hear more about who you are and what you're grateful for in the comments. And I really appreciate any subscription or shares of this, because I have important things to share, and we're just getting started. Okay, blessings all.